يعني ساعات بيحصل كده شوية مناقشات بسبب اللبس. ايه الحال هناك يا جميل؟
Yeah, Mahmoud's face says it all. Just because he might move to America, it doesn't mean all the problems in their marriage will magically disappear. You might take the boy out of Egypt, but you can't take Egypt out of the boy.
احنا بنتكلم ان هو انا هنا زي هناك.
انا عارف ان هم بيحبوا بعض. من رأيي محمود ما يروحش امريكا بصراحة.
Mahmoud's older brother Ahmed, who himself lived overseas for many years, thinks his brother isn't cut out to live in America. This is a bad idea. But before we dive into the discussions and all the reasons why this move shouldn't happen, let's quickly catch up on what's happened since we last saw Nicole and Mahmoud. So we left the couple last week after Nicole admitted that she no longer wants to live in Egypt. And while we've heard her say this same thing a few times before, this time was different. For a start, it wasn't in the middle of an argument in the heat of the moment.
I've been struggling to tell you, but I'm ready to leave Egypt.
And having already applied for Mahmoud's spousal visa with the application still pending, Nicole suggested that if or when the application is approved, Mahmoud should move with her back to the States.
Since I'm not happy in Egypt, then I think it's worth trying a new life together in the US and see if that will work.
But Mahmoud was very hesitant about the move. So, when we join them in this episode, he's turned to his brother Ahmed to get some advice.
After Nicole asked if I will move to the United States to live there, I would like to talk to my brother. He lived in China for a while, so he can help give me some advice.
And while that may be a good idea in theory, I'm not sure that any of his brother's advice will actually stick. Because Ahmed seems to be a totally different character to Mahmoud. He's way more chill, way more relaxed about his religion. When Ahmed lived in China, he drank alcohol. Does anyone expect Mahmoud to start drinking when he's in the States? Because I can't see it happening. He's not willing to loosen any of the strict ideals that he holds close to his heart.
انا ونيكول وهي نتكلم نجرب مثلا برضه العيشه هناك في امريكا. هي الفكره هي مش عارفه تعيش هنا.
Mahmoud is so hesitant to even bring up this topic. And while I don't think Ahmed is going to react badly, Mahmoud's mum might. As Ahmed's wife Fatima warned Nicole last week, if Mahmoud were to leave, it would cause a lot of pain. It probably wouldn't be looked on favourably by the rest of the family.
يعني مسافرة ولا مش مسافرة؟ ده بالنسبة لها هي.
انا
بالنسبة لك انت مقصود يعني. بس
انا الاول اتضايقت كده بتغير رايها على طول.
Ahmed takes the news in his stride, and his relaxed response is totally in keeping with everything we've seen of him on the show so far. He seems really level-headed, a lot more able to see the bigger picture. It makes me think I'd love to know more about him and Fatima's love story. I bet there's an interesting story there that's shaping his worldly view. He's not fazed and he doesn't appear judgmental at Mahmoud's news. But Mahmoud, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. How, with a straight face, he can claim that Nicole's changed her mind suddenly, when it's been glaringly obvious for months just how unhappy Nicole is in Egypt, makes you really question why he couldn't see it coming a mile away.
بس بعد كده لما حسبتها ان هي يعني هي حاولت بصراحه كتير ان هي تبقى مثلا انا لازم على الاقل احاول.
I'm so glad that Mahmoud came to this realization by himself. Last week he was complaining about how concerned he was that he wouldn't fit in America, which is ironic because that's exactly what Nicole's been dealing with in Egypt this entire time. Maybe if the roles are reversed, if he gets to experience firsthand just how difficult it is to live overseas, to live in a different culture, maybe it will give him a newfound respect for Nicole.
Nicole tried so hard to be with me in Egypt. Now, when I have chance to move to the United States, I would be off a person if I said, oh no, I'm not going to move.
I mean, Nicole did try, you've got to give her that. She's come back to Egypt on multiple occasions, lived in Mahmoud's family home, converted religion, and she's even attempting to find a middle ground and dress more modestly. She's definitely put herself outside of her comfort zone. She has tried, we can't doubt that. Now, faced with the prospect of having to do likewise himself, now that the prospect of moving to America has become a little bit more real, it's good that Mahmoud is finally beginning to realise all the sacrifices that Nicole has made for him. So, just how far along are they with the visa process?
والفيزا بتاعتك خلصانه ولا ايه؟
بعت لي ايميل ان هم خلال الشهرين الجايين دول هيبعتوا الانترفيو.
يعني على اخر السنه هتسافر ان شاء الله.
Now, what's interesting here is while Ahmed is supportive and he is cool about the situation, he's also keen to stress all the negatives that would come with moving to America. He wants Mahmoud to really understand that this is a very big decision, not one to be taken lightly. Just because you're married to Nicole doesn't mean you have to go through with this.
افتقد ناس حواليك، تتعامل انت برضو مش من هنا. انا ما بقولكش كده برضو عشان تقول لا انا هقول لك كده عشان تعمل نفسك
انا مهيئ نفسي.
Ahmed is giving his little brother some real talk right now, but as an older brother myself, this made me laugh, because I know for a fact if I were to give that same advice to my younger brother, he'd react in exactly the same way. I know, you're not telling me anything I don't know. I am prepared. It's funny because Mahmoud's turned to his older brother for advice, yet when he gets some words of wisdom, he's all too ready to ignore it. He's convinced he knows it anyway, just like every younger sibling does. But that doesn't stop Ahmed from worrying about Mahmoud.
انا عارف ان هم بيحبوا بعض. من رايي محمود ما يروحش امريكا بصراحه.
That is a very interesting response from an otherwise very understanding Ahmed. But what really stands out to me is it's exactly the same advice that his wife gave to Nicole in the last episode.
أي محمود ونيكول عادي على في مصر أحلم بقى سنتين كده عشان تعلم نيكول.
So why exactly are his nearest and dearest so keen for them to remain in Egypt? Well, I think the truth is, they know that if Mahmoud moves to America, this marriage is as good as over. He won't be able to last. The only way this relationship might survive is Nicole in Egypt, not Mahmoud in America.
اول ما ينزل على الارض الوضع غير صدمه. يا اما يتصدم وما يقدرش يعيش ويرجع تاني مصدوم. وده يكون مشكلة.
Living in another country requires you to adapt. Things are different to what you may be used to. Nicole has done a fairly good job at this. She's been willing to change a lot about her life to try and fit in. But the big question is, will Mahmoud be willing to make equal adjustments when he moves to America? Is he willing to do the same for Nicole as she did for him?
بيحصل كده شوية مناقشات بسبب اللبس. ايه الحل هناك يا كبير؟
لا انا بالنسبه لي انا هنا زي هناك، انا هنا مسلم وهناك مسلم. احنا بنتكلم ان هو انا هنا زي هناك.
Well, I guess that answers that. I wonder if Nicole has asked him that question. Something tells me she's not going to like not being able to wear anything she wants back home in America. I can't help but feel that history is just going to repeat itself here. Nicole is falling into the trap of doing exactly what she did before they got married. She's assuming that being in a new country will mean there's some wiggle room, that Mahmoud might relax his stance a little. But that option doesn't seem to have crossed Mahmoud's mind at all.
تحس ان هي عملت كده عشان محمود وزهقت من محمود واللي جاب يعني خلاص. طب لو حصل موقف زي ده وانتوا هناك ايه رد فعلك؟
انا لسه مش عارف لسه ما.
Ahmed is accurately pointing out that the pair aren't solving anything by moving. They're just taking the same issues with them to a different setting. The fact that Mahmoud and Nicole haven't even discussed this, that Mahmoud hasn't even thought about what he'd do if the same thing happens again, just shows how immature he is and how bad they are at communicating.
اقعد كده الايام اللي جايه دي تأهل نفسك اكمل علاقتي مع مراتي ازاي اكمل علاقتي تعيش في امريكا.
More great advice from Ahmed. How exactly does Mahmoud imagine that things will be different in America? Because from Nicole's perspective, I think she believes she's going to have more freedom. She thinks she's going to be able to go back to the American way of life she's lived up until this point. She'll be able to wear what she wants, go out when she wants, go out with who she wants. But I don't think that much of that aligns with Mahmoud's vision for the two of them, and those are the sorts of details they really need to iron out.
Me and Nicole, we need to talk about a lot of things to start our life together there with now fight.
This potential move to America is the perfect opportunity for the pair of them to fix the issues in their marriage. But it means they need to take stock of the past. They need to understand the mistakes they've both made so that they don't make those exact same mistakes again. So, are they mature enough to do that? Or is history just going to repeat itself?